This is the best tank in the game, in my opinion. However, you are basically useless. If they ignore you, you're cooked. You do have a decent amount of CC and stuff, but you have absolutely no damage. Lowest DPS cost in the game. However, pros, if you don't have a keyboard or a mouse, you're totally fine because the class can be played with a foot pedal blindfolded with your monitors off. Okay, so the best classes in PvP after this update. Let's see. Who is this by again? This is Grubs. It's got a pretty good ratio on it, which tells me it's probably pretty accurate.
PvP in the new Talandre update. With 8 different weapons, there are plenty of viable combinations. So, whether you want to tank, DPS or heal, let's have a look onto the top classes in each role. The main focus of this game is large-scale PvP, so that is what I'm going to focus on here. And always keep in mind that these are just the top classes of each role. You can make other...
Guys, I strongly recommend that if you're going to play Throne of Liberty or any MMO, you need to just pick the class that you find the most fun or the coolest. All right, that's what you need to play. All right, otherwise you're just gonna quit. If you constantly play something that, oh, it's just because I play it because it's good, well, then you're just not having fun. You're just not having as much fun as you could be, and you will quit. I promise you, you will play for more hours, get gear faster, and you can always tag stuff if you really want to, but you'll get gear faster because you grinded longer, because you played the game more, because you played a class that you found fun. So, just like BDO, exactly like BDO.
Things viable. Let's find out which weapon combinations are the best and what suits your playstyle. So starting with the DPS classes, we have 2 really strong ranged DPS classes. First of all, we have the Staff and Dagger combo called Spellblade. When it comes to raw...
Staff is back, boys! Also, this is Whelps. Also an absolute G. Oh my god, he is sweating. Look at it. You can see the shine on his cheek. Is this how you guys feel about me? God, I kind of want to keep my arms down now. Oh.
Damage, this is your new best ranged DPS. To deal damage, it only utilizes the Staff ability.
No, you're fat. First message. First message. Black is my most slimming color, too.
You will not use any dagger skills to deal damage, but the dagger comes with really good defensive and utility skills. These will allow you to play the class in different ways. You can just stay behind the backline or join a flanking group. The dagger just gives the combo a lot of defensive options that allow the class to play.
Utility? No, you don't have very much utility on Staff Dagger. That word was misused in my opinion. On Staff Dagger, you do have a lot of damage and you will have a lot of self-peel tools. But your way of helping your teammates is to kill everyone. Death is the best CC. Okay? Like that's it. Okay, because you ain't helping them otherwise. You don't have heals, you don't have support buffs or anything. You're looking out for number 1, which is yourself. Okay? He's right, you can flank. You have self-peel tools like invisibility and then dashes and stuff like that. But like, yeah, no, you ain't got no utility, bro. You ain't a team player here. You're a top fragger. You're trying to kill people.
Play different playstyles. And of course, it's also boosting the damage of all of your staff abilities. Just a really powerful class at the moment. Next, we have the bow staff combo called the...
Bro, this is the best, in my opinion. This has always been the best large-scale PvP DPS. Obviously, Spear Dagger was really good, but again, those players don't get to play the game if we don't have enough flash waves. It's just the truth. You gotta have flash wave. We love flash wave. Oh my god. We're like Oprah with it.
Liberator. This is your classic I stay behind my frontline type of class.
Oh yeah, so the downsides of bow staff. You're sitting on a casting couch with braces with a bunch of men behind you with spears in their hand. It's about to get kinky. You have almost no peel or self-peel whatsoever. You are basically a walking bottom. You are a victim POV. No question on this class. But you output a tremendous amount of damage. Okay, and really, It's not your fault when you die. If ever you die on a bow staff, you just look over and you say, healer! Okay? As loud as you can, and you blame them. All right? Everything else is irrelevant. Just frag out.
Compared to the Spellblade, this combo has far less defensive abilities for himself. This is why you want to play it behind your front line. This class uses both his bow and his staff to deal a lot of damage. But it also comes with great utility. It can cast giant tornadoes that can knock all people up, or can even cast giant AoE spells that not only deal a lot of damage but also heal as well. You can really never have too many Liberators in your roster. It's just a
That's what I said. I'm telling you, bro, this is such a good weapon combination. It was good in T1, it's good in T2, it's super consistent.
really well-rounded class. So these are by far the two best ranged DPS classes in the meta right now. Next we have the crossbow dagger combination called Scorpion. This class is
Why is this game still alive? Why does your mom like getting so much? We'll never know. Well, I will. But you won't.
all about going invisible, finding the right moment, jumping into a big group of enemies and trying to take them all out. It's like an assassin, but instead of trying to assassinate one player, it's trying to assassinate 20 players. The real skill in this class is finding the right...
Hey, you guys, if you're new to this stream, you starting to learn. Yeah, chat gives me a lot of shit, but I give it right back to chat. All right, this is the only place that you can come at the end of the day, be called retarded, and enjoy it. You are welcome. Everyone is equally here, equally worthless.
moment to go in, because at the end of the day, doing your combo at the end is not super complicated. It's more or less just pressing one button. Of course, you can play this class in many different styles, but...
Wait, is this crossbow dagger? Is that what he's talking about? Hold on. Yeah, it's crossbow dagger. Yeah, so this class got a lot better with T2. At the end of T1, this class is kind of a meme. There were like a handful of players on the whole server that could make it work in large scale against actual good players. Most crossbows were like, I spun and I killed a bunch of new players. Oh. Okay. Real talk though, there were some really good crossbow daggers that could absolutely make the class work and it could pump. But like you could say that for any class in the game, can absolutely pump damage. But it's gotten a lot better in T2. From whatever.
Go in, because at the end of the day, doing your
DRJP, thanks for the prime step, but I appreciate you. Okay.
Combo at the end is not super complicated. It's more or less just pressing one button.
Counter barrier f them up. Yeah, so you do like the salvation chain and counter barrier, and what happens is the crossbow jumps in to spin in your party, and the tank reflects, or the tank. What the chain does, guys, is basically the tank takes all the damage for his party members, okay? And then counter barrier reflects that damage back at the owner. So what happens is the crossbow comes in and immediately kills himself in game.
Of course, you can play this class in many different
Blood
styles,
Devo counter barrier.
but the real power comes from this assassin place.
Yeah, and the best part of that entire interaction is the nice spin, bro, that you put into chat after it happens. Very satisfying.
But maybe this is not your style, but you like the crossbow. Let me introduce you the sword and shield and crossbow combo.
This is what Cannon said. Expo SNS. And I was like, are you trolling? He's like, I am not trolling. It felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. No, I am not shitting you. I'm like, what? Apparently this is a thing and it's really, really good in T2.
Which is called Radar. This class does the same as the Scorpion, it's going in and spinning with the crossbow. But the Radar lacks the invisibility from the dagger, making the playstyle completely different. You will...
Yeah, so this can be played with a foot pedal. You just run into the middle of everyone and then start spinning your thing around. Woo! That's it. You're really tanky, you have a lot of CC. They can't stop you. So crossbow dagger is like going invisible, trying to do like the Assassin's Creed fantasy. This guy said, try to kill me. You can't. Pussy. You just walk, Giga Chad, walk straight by him. Don't care.
We'll need to find other ways to engage. But the synergy between the crossbow and the sword and shield is still really great, and additionally it makes the class also a little bit more tanky. So if you like the spinning playstyle, but you don't want to be that full assassin, then this might be a class for you. Now let's come to the melee DPS classes, and here we have two clear winners. First of all, we have the spear and dagger combo, which is called the Shadow Dancer. This is,
yeah, if ever you were wondering if spear is still good in T2, yes it is.
Theoretically a melee class, but you can also play it heavily on range, because it's...
This is a class that you cannot play with a foot pedal because you have to press so many buttons. You can, however, play it Queen Pwns a lot style and blindfold yourself and still get 45 kills in Siege.
All about throwing spears into your enemies, where they bounce between all of them and dealing crazy amount of AoE damage. As so often, the dagger is used more as a utility weapon, providing invisibility to the combo and also just a lot of utility, amplifying the damage and also providing defensive abilities.
You guys should understand how dagger works as a weapon. Dagger dagger is the weapon that you choose when you only really want to play one weapon. If all you want to do is play staff, you just pick the dagger with it, because all the dagger does is enhance the damage on the other weapon that you have. You just put a dagger on and you'll just do a lot more damage. Okay, so you use the invisibility and the buffs from the dagger, but aside from that, you're pretty much just going to be using, in this case, all of the spear skills. It's the same thing for staff. Staff dagger is, you're just going to use pretty much all of the staff skills with some of the peel that the dagger has to offer, and it's just going to amplify all your damage. Okay, so if you really only see one weapon that you really like in Throne of Liberty, just put a dagger with it, and then you get to play that weapon more. That's basically how the dagger works.
If you want
dagger needs a nerf, I don't think the dagger needs a nerf. I think that it suits that need. Again, there's probably a lot of players out there that really only are interested in playing the spear, or are only interested in playing staff or wand, and they really want all of those skills on their bar, right? And like dagger allows them to play that play style and enhance it, and I think that that's fine. Yeah, yeah, it does a lot of damage, but honestly, let's be real. Even with all that damage, are the tanks dying? No. Well, maybe a little bit now.
Play fully as a melee, you have to...
Wand dagger is good then. It's solid. It's a good bomber. It's a good bomber. Get some big sleep bombs.
Find smaller skirmishes on the battlefield, but here it's also really good at helping to kill single targets.
Big tick damage.
The next
big
combo that
damage.
is starting to get more attention is the spear and greatsword combo called Gladiator.
This is a frontline tank, but you have a little bit more damage. Your spear, your mastery tree for this is probably like the bottom left defensive tree and the top right damage tree, because like you're not like a full tank. You do a little bit of damage. They can't completely ignore you, but and you tank a lot of, so you're still really tanky, but you still do a solid amount of damage. It's not SNS Wand, right? SNS Wand is like ultimate tank. I'm not going to do any damage, but they are never going to kill me. You will die on Spear Greatsword, but you can take a beating here.
This combo is now the first classical bruiser that we have in the game.
Basically a bruiser. I would say that a bruiser... Gosh, does it count? I think it's a step beyond a bruiser. I do. I mean, like, can it be described as a bruiser? Absolutely, right? Like, by definition. But I think that there are probably better examples overall. I'm hard-pressed to think of one, though. So, yeah, I think that bruiser's a fine way to explain it. It's got a solid amount of DPS. It's got a solid amount of tankiness, right?
Both these weapons give you a good mix of defensive and offensive.
I would still classify it more if I had one of these in my composition. I classify it as a frontline tank if I'm a shot caller.
Skills. They allow you to be that bruiser with high mobility, good tankiness, and also pretty solid damage. But don't expect to be able to jump into 50 people and survive. That's not possible. You're not a tank, but I think it's a good mix between a tank and a full DPS class.
Does it look like he's taking damage in that clip?
These will probably be the best DPS classes in PvP. But I want to talk about two classes that probably a lot of people are looking forward to and explain why they are not on the list. First of all, we have Greatsword Dagger, which...
Okay, this is the highest single target damage in the game as far as I'm aware. Greatsword Dagger is complete ass in large scale PvP for the most part, unless you are very good at isolating targets and killing them in like the skirmish, right out on the flank. Most of Greatsword Dagger's gameplay is this right here. I'll explain it. So basically, you run around inside your own offense ball and you just spam R, which is your astral vision. So you feud all of the squishy like crossbow dagger players or all of like the really big DPSs of the enemy guild. You feud them. And then you run around doing this in your backline next to all your bow staffs that are actually doing a lot of damage and have the AoE to do something. And anytime one of those crossbows comes in for a spin, you're like, hello. Okay, and then you immediately lock them down and just one-shot them. Because that's your job. Death is the best CC. Okay, that's a really good way to play Greatsword Dagger in large scale. You can also play it out as a flank class, but you can't ever dive into anything. If more than 2 people look at you, does it bruise? No, it does not. No, it does not. If more than like 2 or 3 people look at you, you're gonna die on. This is super squishy.
Which is called the Ravager. This is one of the best classes when it comes to small scale. They have high mobility, good lockdown and high single target damage. Just great for small scale. The problem is that in large scale this class has super high gear requirements. And additionally it's super hard to pull off even if you have the good gear.
Again, I just explained it. It can absolutely be pulled off in large scale PvP. It's difficult though. It's difficult to position correctly. I don't really feel like it needs a crazy high gear requirement, mainly because you have such good single target damage. If you understand how to position properly and like how to focus down correct targets, I don't really feel like you need a tremendous amount of gear.
It's similar to the second class, Bow Dagger, which is your Infiltrator. It's your range class with good utility and a lot of single target damage. Of course there are ways to deal AoE damage with those classes, but it's much harder to pull off than with other classes.
I would disagree respectfully. Mainly because the primary thing you're doing as a Bow Dagger is you're flash waving for a crazy amount of damage.
And if you look for competitive...
He's right. It does have a lot of single target damage. 100%. It's packed in there. But I would not say it's lacking on AoE.
Guilds as a Ravager or Infiltrator, it will just be a lot harder.
Glass cannon, that's
now,
right.
Let's talk about tank.
Yeah, Bow Dagger is like you have... Bow Dagger is basically bow staff, guys. It's basically the same thing. But you have more peel. Slightly less overall damage, in my opinion. But you can peel yourself more because you have the invisibility from the bow or from the dagger.
Tanks. There are 2 tanks that really stand out and have their roles on the battlefield. First of all, you have the Sword and Shield plus Greatsword combo, which is called Crusader. This is your classical tank. So obviously you are just really tanky.
Yeah, this is a tank.
With the Sword and Shield. But now you're also getting really good damage from the Greatsword. Depending on how you build, you could focus on building more.
This is kind of like Spear SNS or whatever, right? Spear Greatsword is kind of like a much more DPS heavy thing, right? It's much more DPS heavy. It's much more bruiser in my opinion. That's the better example of a bruiser. SNS Greatsword, you're a tank. You're a tank with very little sustain in my opinion. Well, when you compare it to like SNS Wand, you have a much less sustain. But you do have a little bit more damage, obviously.
Damage and be more like a bruiser. Then you can do engages for your team.
Like you will get kills if you play Greatsword SNS.
And actually blow people up. But you can also go a more defensive route that can either focus on just setting up engages
really
or
solid
just help
frontline
protecting
class.
the backline. It is a really versatile class that can be used in a lot of different ways. And the second tank is the Sword and Shield and Wand combination. This is your...
Is Greatsword Staff a good combo? I'm new. It's one of the best PvE combos in the game. Really, really good. In PvP, you're basically a hard glass cannon. Incredible single target damage, but you're also... They one-shot you, you one-shot them. That's so good.
Templar. If you want...
It's a 1v1 class, right?
To be unkillable, this is your class. The Sword and Shield...
But every class is going to have its disadvantages, guys. Every class is bad at something. And hopefully I've highlighted that so far throughout the video. Even classes that are super meta, like Bow Staff, it's really bad at 1v1 PvP because you just get absolutely obliterated. Like, because you just don't have any peel for yourself. So they're trade-offs for everything. It's just kind of the play style that you want. You're always going to have weaknesses. Where you want the strengths to be, where you want the weaknesses to be.
It will make you insanely tanky, and the wand gives you access to all the healing abilities. This
is SNS Wand he's talking about right now. I'll bring this down so you guys can see it. This is SNS Wand, or Templar. This is the best tank in the game, in my opinion. However, you are basically useless. If they ignore you, you're cooked. You do have a decent amount of CC and stuff, but you have absolutely no damage. Lowest DPS cost in the game. However, pros, if you don't have a keyboard or a mouse, you're totally fine because the class can be played with a foot pedal blindfolded with your monitors off.
Combination is simply unkillable. This class is all about being in the enemy zerg, being really annoying and setting stuff up for your team. You have access to a lot of CC abilities that allow you to be just that annoying and valuable to your roster. But this class is not about dealing damage. Of course, you can spec more into damage.
SNS wand damage is giga slept on. Okay, that's cap. I'm telling you right now, I hosted the best in guild tournaments for NA and EU. And out of the 4,000 players in over like 70 or 80 guilds that participated in those tournaments, not a single SNS wand made it to the front page. Ever. For any reason. Not even remotely close. Okay. It's different now. I highly doubt that it is out damaging things like Greatsword Dagger in single target damage. I highly doubt it's outperforming things like Bow Staff in large scale damage. I highly doubt that it's outperforming Staff Dagger in just overall DPS in almost any format, right? Like, it's just, it is what it is. It's not outperforming a DPS. So it's not a DPS, bro. It's slept on. It does no damage.
But compared to other classes, your damage is still...
It is a tank and only tank class. Okay? You can maybe do 10% of someone's health bar. Maybe you could do like 40% if they really ignored you. But you ain't killing people.
Still really
unless you massively outgear them.
Low. Okay, so these are by far the two best tanks in the game. Now let's come to the healers. Here we have three really strong...
Bow Staff. My understanding, Bow Staff. Bow Wand. Best healing in the game. Staff Wand. Close second best. I am now using both. I do think that Bow is better, but I think Staff actually does have advantages.
Strong combinations that all fulfill slightly different roles. And will also...
I played Staff Wand for the first, like all of T1. And now I'm playing Bow Wand. And I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Require different playstyles. First of all, we have the wand Bow, which is called Seeker. This is your pure healer in the game. They have the most access to healing abilities because the bow also comes with some...
Ironically enough, funny he's got Eli on the screen. This is the same guy, by the way, that has all... He makes all the healing guides on max roll and stuff. He's also the guy that DMs me and tells me what to build for what I'm playing. Okay. I also have VOD reviews of him on my channel where I break down exactly why he's standing where he is and like the healer positioning. So you can check that out too. Sad that we wish Eli made more content, but sadly he doesn't.
Some additional healing spells. But
oftentimes the highest damage tanked in the lobby belongs to a bow wand, if you can believe it. Because the most people are trying to focus you down and you're just healing through everything. So you end up tanking more than even the tanks do, which is literally insane, by the way. That's why I rolled to it, because I was like, well, shit, if I'm going to be a shot caller, I might as well. Let's see, hold on. Where's my healer bottom? There it is. If I'm going to shot call, I might as well be as tanky as I can and heal for everybody. Right? And heal for everybody. There be my bow. Boom. That's what we play in now. It's fun. It's a great spec, and I'll be honest with you. I'm somebody that I find fun. I have fun in the MMO when other people are having fun. I don't know about you guys. There are certain types of people in the MMO, in the gaming universe, okay? There are the people that are just like, yeah, I want to frag out, and their dopamine hit is killing other players. That's the most common people, right? They're like, oh, I want to get those kills, right? And having a high KDA really helps get them off at night. Then There's the people that just want to tank all the damage. And the gooning that they do is they walk into 20 people and they're all hitting them. And they're like, do something about it, pussies. Okay? Those are tank mains. Okay? Those people, they just get off to nobody being able to kill them for any reason whatsoever. They just can't be killed, right? And then you have the healers. And the healers are a very specific subset of people who legitimately will record you when you say things like, oh, dude, that just saved my life. Dude, that heal was so good. The healer's like, oh, God, tell me again how good it was. Oh, God. Okay. The healer is somebody that gets off to the fact that they're supporting is making everybody else have a better time, whether it be the tanks or the DPS, both of them. Okay, it's just the truth. I lap up those compliments. I do too. I know it takes one to know one. Okay, that's just how it is. All right, that you gotta know where you sit in the community. You know what I mean? Just know your place. I know that I have the most fun when everybody else is having fun. That puts me in the support role. That makes me a healer. And I've been told I've been a very good healer 3 times that I recorded.
But besides that, you also get access to a lot of utility skills that can remove a stun from a teammate, remove weakens from the whole party, reset a cooldown, and so on. The Caesar is all about keeping your teammates alive, and you have plenty of tools for that. But getting it right takes practice, and it's not easy. You have to remember that as a healer, everyone will...
Okay, I'm about to AoE taunt chat. Are you guys ready? Roll difficulty. In order. The difficulty of rolls in MMOs. Okay? The lowest difficulty. DPS. DPS is a complete joke. It literally, your only job is to do damage. You're absolute dog shit at the game. The only reason you're ever able to do anything is if your healer is doing their job. You complete losers. Honestly, most of the time, the tank and the healer have to babysit you because you're doing something retarded. Okay? The next one is the tank. Okay? Tanks do have it harder than DPS because tanks actually have to know how to position themselves. Tanks are like, hey, where's my healer at? How hard can I dive into this? Now, there are bad tanks in the meta where they just dive into everything and then they die and they're like, where's my team? Okay, those are idiots. Okay, those are bad tanks. But good tanks know exactly how much damage they can take and still get out and be okay. All right, that's the tank. And you also have to know, and I'm just strictly talking from a PvP standpoint, by the way. This is not for PvE. This is just for PvP. And the hardest role in the game, by far, it's not even close. As a healer, you are just running around, putting out fires like you're in California. Okay? It's literally insane. Oh my god, that guy's low on health. He's low on mana. Holy shit, where the is he going? Oh my god, I have to position over here. Wait, there's somebody diving me. Oh my god. Bro, like, you are literally all over the place trying to manage your stamina, managing your cooldowns, breaking CCs on people, buffing the correct person, debuffing other people, healing everyone. Like, bro, it's crazy the amount of shit that you have to do as a healer, okay, in PvP. All right, and again, the DPS, the only thing they really need to worry about is, like, how far forward they can actually get away with. You know what I mean? Most DPS, they just step into the enemy ball because they think the flash wave is going to be, it'll hit more people. And they're not necessarily wrong, but the healer's like, it's literally crazy, bro. Like, you just try to keep people alive, man. I'm telling you, bro.
Trying to hunt you down. But the next weapon combination is one that we already had, the SNS Vance, our Templar. Instead of going for a full tank, you can also play this as a full healer. Of course, you will have less access to...
Stop. Full healer SNS wand is cap as... Do you know why it's cap as... Do you know who the SNS wand is healing? himself. That he ain't healing your ass. Maybe at some point, if he's at full health and has absolutely nothing off cooldown or on cooldown, and you get really low and you happen to be in range, he might throw you a swift healing. But for the most part, that is not walking around trying to heal your ass, bro. He, not even for a second. He's over here because he's tanking a lot of damage. He just keeps healing himself. You can run more healing spells on SNS Wand for sure, but let's be honest. He's healing himself. Okay? I'm healing myself and only myself. There it is. There it is. I do not consider an SNS Wand a tank. I mean a healer. This party does not actually have a healer. Not a thing.
Compared to the Seeker, but you can worry less about your position, follow your party better, because you're so tanky. And you will still do great healing. And the good part is that you have nice CC abilities that can even set up plays in some cases.
He's not wrong. I'm memeing. In theory, absolutely it can serve as a healer. It's just that most of these players are just tank players that are just like, okay. There's another subset of tank players, guys, that like edge themselves to like laughing at people because they got low on health. Oh, I'm gonna get low on health. Oh, you're gonna get me. No, you're not. I'm full again. Okay, like that's SNS Wand in a heartbeat. We've almost got him. We've almost got him. Son of a bitch. You know, like they just heal themselves again and again and again. It's a nightmare. It's like you're trying to rush to kill him before the 8-second swift healing comes off cooldown again.
It's just a different...
I'm being called out again. Bro, it's like rage bait. It's straight up, they're just rage baiting people.
Playstyle, but it's also super powerful as a healer and way easier to play. The final healer combo is Wand and Stuff, which is called the Invocator.
This is what I played for the entirety of T1. It's actually really good. Really, really good.
Similar to the Templar,
underrated.
This class has less access to healing abilities, but instead it comes with a lot of utility and damage potential. Instead of just...
What I liked about Invocator is that I can queue as a DPS or a healer and actually DPS or heal depending on which loadout I actually have. What I liked about Invocator is that it legitimately is just... It's... I don't want to say utility. It's variety. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can be as much of a healer as you want to be, or as much of a DPS as you want to be, depending on which things you have equipped, right? Like it's got a lot of variety in the gameplay that you can do, and I like that in my gameplay. This is part of the reason I play Druid when I play Pathfinder or D&D. It's because Druid is an extremely diverse class. You can turn into any animal that you want. You're only limited by your imagination. You're a spellcaster. You can be a frontline. You can be a summoner. You can be a diplomat. You can do anything that you want, right? It's just super wide diversity of things that you can do. Invocator is kind of that class for me. You can do a lot of different stuff. The only thing you're not really going to be able to do is tank super well. But I had a tank Invocator build that was actually pretty damn good and made me feel super tanky in T1. Really tanky, because I was the shot caller. That build was given to me by Rylock, approved by Eli. Like they were like, oh yeah, that could work specifically for the shot caller. Yeah, it's a solid build because it made me really tanky. Basically, I maxed out my mana and then I used mana shield to keep myself alive all the time. It was sick. It's pretty cool.
Healing, you get access to some freezes, some slows, and you can even pull party members out of danger. And
oh, true. My favorite thing about it was using the pull to yoink a friend or foe alike for the memes. Yeah, true. So it has like a pull, like the staff has a skill that you can use that pulls people. You can pull your DPS back from making a horrible decision. You're like, no, like again, it's like you see your DPS as the kindergartner about to stick a fork in a light socket. You're like, no, don't do that. You can pull him right out of there. You know what I mean? Salvation chain. Yep, that's what it is. Really cool. Really, really cool. Really, really solid class. And again, it's got its also, yeah, you can meme on your friends with it, which is a huge W. But again, Staff Wand, I think, is really, really underrated as a healing class in the game. Really solid. Really solid. Super, super, super good.
even if you have a full healer build, you can still blow people up because you dip.
I was still dealing damage. I would get like 5 or 10 kills per conflict boss as the healer, which doesn't happen.
Which is still really good. So,
and I only had like 3 damage skills. I could have equipped way more damage skills.
These are the 3 most powerful healers in the game right now.
That is true. He's right.
Okay, this is it. Everything you need to know about the current meta. Of course, things will change, players will discover new combinations, so please use this as a guideline and feel free to try new things. But remember that if you want to join a competitive guild, you should start playing something meta and maybe switch to something else later.
No, I don't think so. I think that's bad advice, respectfully. I think that if you want to join a competitive guild, you should show that competitive guild why you are so good with your class and why they should take you, even though you're not playing necessarily a meta build. Right. Crossbow Dagger, I would not consider as a very meta class in T1, and yet some of the best guilds in the game had 1 or 2 crossbow daggers in the guild. You know why? Because they were absolute gamers. Like, bro, you can make almost anything work. If you're a gamer and you're good at it, you make that shit work. And I sincerely think that you should always be playing something that you find to be the most fun in the game. Otherwise, you will stop playing the game. You can always tag. Like, I think he has it reversed. I think that you should play what you want to play no matter what. And then if you really feel like you need to tag something that's meta, then you can do that and only do that in a minimalistic part of your content. Like, that's a fine way to do it. It's like the opposite of what he said. Either way, it's a really good video. I agree with pretty much everything he was saying there.